Today I'm going to be doing a quick unscripted video. I just want to talk about that machine right there. I made a video a couple months ago where I built, or at least attempted to build, a very fast Windows Millenium PC, and unfortunately it didn't work out too well. It was a huge disappointment. I was able to play through one game. I have finished Max Payne, but not without issues, a bunch of crashes, freezes. So it has nothing to do with Windows Millenium. It was all due to the motherboard being cooked. Even though I wasn't using it, I haven't been using it for like, I don't know, years. It was just sitting, it just somehow collected some issue that was unfixable. And yeah, we had to part ways. I've also gotten rid of some of my older computers, and so, downsized a little bit. But this case still has been sitting empty since the motherboard is fucked. And yeah, I still want to like put a machine in there because it's such a cool case. It's just sitting there empty, unused. I want to put at least something in there. Now I'm not going to be building the super fast LGA 775 machine anymore because I don't have any other LGA 775 motherboards that would take a Core 2 Duo CPU or a Pentium dual core CPU, and I don't feel like putting any money into this. I get so many parts lying around. I'm just going to use whatever I have, which is what I do most of the times. So I'm not going to go out and buy anything, which is going to be putting together another machine. Now this is not my first choice, obviously. Unfortunately, we had to downgrade a little bit. We're still going to use the very cool Geforce 6600 GT card right there. And but to be able to use that, I'm going to need something that has PCI Express. Now this is a LGA 775 motherboard, however this is one of the earlier ones that has a 915 chipset, I believe, something like that. And so this only supports Pentium 4s, and even at that, not all the Pentium 4s. So I don't even know what we're going with, honestly. I know the frequency, but I can't remember the exact model number. Right, so it doesn't actually say the model number. I believe it's something like a Pentium 4. It's like 520, I think. 520 something, maybe? 500 something. Pentium 4 500 something. It's a LGA 775 Prescott chip. Pentium 4 Prescott. And so it's got 1 megabyte of L2 cache. 90 nanometers. Not my first choice. But at 3.2, it should be good enough for, like a Windows 98 machine. I think the video card is much more important, so even with this CPU, this video card is still gonna do pretty well, I would assume. What else do we need? Now, the power supply and the hard drive is already in the case from the last video on this machine, so I guess the only thing we need is some RAM, which I got 2 sticks of 256 right here. I'm gonna populate that. This is a dual channel capable motherboard, so at least that's something. So I got dual channel DDR1. Also, this is something I've been wanting to use for a while now, but I still haven't been able to use it in any of my machines. This is a ESS Solo 1 card. I got this a couple months ago, and I've yet to actually test it out properly. I think this is kind of a budget build, and the bracket isn't quite perfect, so it doesn't fit perfectly into every case. Hopefully I can fit it properly into this case. Yeah, we'll see if I can make it work. So that's the plan. I'm not even sure if this chipset is going to work at all. Maybe not. If not, I'll just look for a different card. I also have a bunch of Sound Blaster Lives if I need that. I mean, whatever, I can just chuck something in there so we can have sound. This motherboard unfortunately doesn't have any a backplate, and one thing that kinda I don't like about it is that it also doesn't have any PS2 ports, only got USB. This is a crappy Asus pre-built machine motherboard, so it's like an OEM. I think it's from a Fujitsu Siemens machine. It's one of those horrific Fujitsu machines where they thought it would be a good idea to use one fan to cool the CPU and the power supply at the same time. So there'd be like a duct, like a plastic duct connecting to the power supply, and the power supply fan would suck the hot air off of the Pentium 4 right into the power supply, cooking itself. So yeah, it's from one of those machines. I don't have the case anymore, I don't think, but left with the motherboard. So we're just gonna pop it in there and hope it works. Haven't used it in like a long time, so again, there's a bit of risk it won't work. But if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna put different hardware in there, entirely different hardware. I don't have any other PCI Express motherboards, so I'm gonna have to do different video card as well. But yeah, well, I'll just hope this works. If not, we'll figure something out. So, just gonna need some screws and then start building it. I think this is the same heatsink I used with the other motherboard as well. And I believe this is actually the original heatsink for the motherboard. So this is the Fujitsu creation, and this is how the, like, I think the duct would latch onto this and then suck the air up. Now that also means that we don't really have any good mounting solutions for a fan, but I'll figure something out. I'm sure I probably just hacked something on there, zip tied something on my fan. Couple issues with this motherboard and case combination is that, well, I won't be able to hook up the power lead because it's this weird one where I don't know why, but it's a 3-pin and then the connections are at the edges, which makes not much sense at all. I need a 2-pin one, so that's not gonna work. Another issue is that I can't hook up the PC speaker because we already have a PC speaker on here. Right there's a little piezo beeper on this motherboard, but again, this is mostly going to be a Windows Millenium machine mostly for Windows games. So PC speaker beeping isn't really going to be a huge deal, although we might do some DOS as well, so I don't know. Whatever. Alright, I'm going to try to lower the motherboard into our case here. I put on the heatsink off camera so that you can not complain about the amount of thermal paste I've used. Alright, now I just need to screw it on. I guess I should have put in the memory as well. I kind of forgot about that, but whatever. We'll just populate it later. So yeah, there's a loose IDE cable in here. I guess I used this for the disk drive at one point. I guess I'll reuse this for the disk drive then. Also, our hard drive is a SATA one. Although it's very early SATA, it still has a Molex connector on it. But we're going to be using it through SATA because the motherboard does support it. So it's SATA 1. I believe it's a 40 GB drive or something like that. Alright, I've got most of the stuff plugged in. We got the power supply plugged in to the motherboard. This one's actually a 24-pin connector, and the motherboard also takes 24-pin because it's got PCI Express. The extra 4 pins are for PCI Express, and this motherboard doesn't even allow you to break it off, so it's just one chunk. Sorry, the power supply doesn't allow you to break it off into 20 pins, so it's just one chunk. Now the SATA connectors, there's red connectors and black ones. I plugged it into the red one. It says SATA 0, so, or SATA 1 or something, so I guess we'll go with that. Red is faster anyways, that's why the cable is red too. I plugged in the top drive. Rest is just for show and filling out blanks and stuff. And yeah, there was only one ID connected on this. It's, you know, this is from the transitional period between ID and SATA, and so yeah, it's got 4 SATA ports and 1 ID connector, so it makes sense to use SATA for the hard drive. It should work fine. It's an Intel board, so I'm not too worried about the SATA working properly. I've also secured the motherboard through the magic of screws. And yeah, now we just need to insert the video card and the RAM. And I was thinking, honestly, I think this is still probably gonna be the fastest Windows 98 machine that I have. Well, it's not gonna be 98, it's gonna be Millenium, but you know what I mean. It's gonna be the fastest 9X machine that I have, I think, because I think it's also probably the best one for it, because, you know, it only supports WDM drivers, which will be more resource heavy, sort of. But we have a pretty much the fastest CPU I can provide. I'm gonna unplug this for a little bit here. So it's a kind of unfortunate placement. I'm gonna plug in the memory here. I believe it's the same color ones that I need to use. That's how we get dual channel. It's not easy because the cables are very tight on this motherboard, because it's sorry, on this power supply, because it's a Dell power supply designed for a specific case, not exactly for just, you know, any case. Okay, I think I got it in. Just need to click it, but I can't really access it very well. It's very awkward. I should have put in the RAM sooner, but too late now. Okay, I think it's in good. Man, these cables are so tight, and there's not enough room for them, so bit of a mess. I might replace this power supply later, I'm not sure. It's an old OEM Dell. It works good enough though. Alright, so RAM is installed. Hopefully it works. I hope I don't have to touch it ever again. And then, last but not least, it's not even last because there's still more, but anyways, here's the Geforce 6600 GT. Which is, well, it's not the best compatibility wise, but still the fastest Win 9X compatible video card I have. So all in all, this is still going to be the fastest 9X machine I have, even with the 3.2 Pentium 4, which is, you know, kind of not so great, but for 9X use it's all right. It's just kind of, you know, it's a press cut, or some call it a press hot. So, and I'm feeling adventurous, so we're just gonna pop in this ESS sound card and see if it works. I don't know. It does have a TSR, so hopefully it's just gonna work, but I wouldn't know. I guess we'll see. We shall find out. And then I'll just screw them in. And we're pretty much done. You can tell I have a lot of faith in this, which is, I'm not sure where this is coming from because I've been burnt by these parts in the past. But yeah, already everything screwed in. I didn't even try out the motherboard on its own, which would have been, you know, probably clever. But what's life without a bit of adventure anyways? So yeah, I think I looked at the video and I think that's the fan I was using last time. I'm gonna need to figure out something somehow to mount this on, like some zip ties or something. I think that's what I used last time. Classic me. We got the video card, we got the sound card plugged in, and I'm sure everything will work perfectly fine. There's gonna be no issues at all. It's all gonna be smooth sailing. And what do you know? It's working. Well, once I removed one of the sticks, I probably just gotta reseat it. It's the one that was really hard to plug in, so probably didn't plug it in quite right. But there we go. We got the hardware monitor here. Fan is going way too fast, so I need to look into it, see if there's like another option for the fan. It says Q fan control is on. Now the problem is that, yeah, this motherboard takes a 4-pin fan, and that's a 3-pin fan that I used. So I don't have any like free 4-pin fans, so I'm probably just going to end up using like a slow 3-pin fan on it, so it's much quieter than this. It's just way too loud right now. Okay, so yeah, right now it's single channel mode, but yeah, we'll put in the extra RAM. It's a, yeah, it just says Pentium 4, doesn't say what kind, but yeah. 256 megs of cache. We're gonna double that in a sec. BIOS is from 2004, so yeah, this is, you know, kind of a later one. Okay, so it looks like a bit of IPA did the trick. I convinced the RAM to work in the machine. I also replaced the fan with a slightly smaller and much quieter 8cm one. Hopefully this will still cool it adequately, and then you know, we'll be able to use it. Now it's reporting 512 megabytes, and if I restart it will say dual channel as well, so victory. As you can see, the Fujitsu Siemens logo, yeah, it's been from a, like I said, a pre-built Fujitsu machine. Let's look at the temperatures. Fan speed is 2,235. That's actually a lot faster than I thought it would be. I thought this was gonna be a lot slower, but because it's only 120 milliamps. Yeah, that's not too bad. Hopefully this will adequately cool that heatsink, and then if it does, then I'll fasten it to the heatsink. This is actually a good way to test the temperatures as well, because I mean, some people think that, you know, this is just idle temperature, you know, 50 something degrees. Not exactly. I think because idle is usually lower than that. I think this is some sort of, not exactly full load, but something is definitely happening, because these, you know, the temperatures in BIOS are usually higher than your idle temperatures in Windows. So this is actually not a bad representation. So we're getting 52 Celsius, which is, I mean, it's a Pentium 4, so, you know, it's to be expected. Yeah, cool. CPU target temperature is 60. I don't know what that means. I think that's probably to do with the fan speed control, but we won't be needing that. So, because this cannot be controlled anyways. Anyways, all right, so yeah, that's it. I think we're good. Next up, I'm gonna take this machine over to the gaming room, and I'm gonna start installing Windows on it and see if we get far enough. Now what's cool about this is also, you know, with the other machine I had to use DDR2, so I had to use way too much memory. This time we have little enough memory that Windows Millenium should work, because we have 512 megabytes, so I won't have to use the what is it called? I forget the name of it. Some kind of Windows Millenium installer pack that installs the Rudolph Low patch for more memory and stuff. I don't really remember anymore because it was months ago, but yeah, I'll figure it out. We should be able to just install a stock Windows Millenium on this PC and it should be good to go. Haven't been able to check the sound card yet. I don't know if it's going to show up as we boot into the machine. Like, it should show a hold on. See if I was setting wrong. Oh, okay, we have a mini Windows XP CD in there. I forgot about that. Will it launch it? It might. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely get into a more comfortable setup at my usual places, just like impromptu putting the machine together on a table type setup. Not the most optimal, but yeah. Yeah, this machine seems to be working good. I'm kind of just checking the temperature with my hand. The heatsink is cool to the touch, so that's good. I'll definitely keep an eye on the temperatures though for this CPU. Not that it's... Oh, I mean, I guess I can use Everest in Windows 98. That should be able to monitor it. I don't have a mouse plugged in, but anyways, yeah, it booted up quite fine, so yeah. Alright. Success I'm gonna take it over to the other setup and I'll continue from there. After finishing up the build, I jumped online, started a stream, and took a look at the computer. Oh, it's probably being like speed stepped down to 2.8. It's only running at 2.8 right now. It's only using one core, one thread as well. But it's definitely a hyper-threaded CPU. 3.2, Pentium 4. 1MB 8-way associated. It's a P5GD1FM. It's an Asus board, I know that much. Even though it says Fujitsu Siemens, it's an Asus board. It's got a 915p chipset. It's an ICH6. Let me see if I can look up like what CPUs are compatible with this. But like whenever I tried putting, I think I tried putting in one of the, I have a Cedar Mill 65nm Pentium 4, that didn't work in here at all. Once we've confirmed what kind of hardware we're working with, I started the Windows Millenium installation, which wasn't going very smoothly at first. I did have to tweak some settings with the SATA controller and how the hard drives would be handled in Windows in compatibility mode, because that's what you need for 9X operating systems, which uses both the IDE controller and two of the SATA connectors. But we got there in the end, and once I have installed Windows Millenium, I started tackling the drivers, which was a bit of a headache for some of the devices. For instance, I could not get the sound card to work at all, but we'll get back to that in a bit. And thankfully there was a Intel 915 chipset driver for Windows 9X, so I was able to install that as well. And then I had to play around with the video card as well a little bit. PCI Express cards work very weird in Windows 9X. It's kind of a coin toss if it's going to work or not. They show up as two separate cards, so that's very confusing. I ended up just installing the 6600 GT drivers for both, and then one of them wasn't working. I just turned off the one that wasn't working, and yeah, we were using the one that was, and yeah, that seemed to be working fine. I've ended up installing the 71 driver for the Nvidia Geforce 6600 GT because I've heard reports of the older one. I believe it's a 66 that was causing some crashes. I haven't tried it myself, but yeah, we went with 71. Maybe one day I'll try 66 as well, but yeah, I wanted to go with the safer option. And yeah, ended up tweaking the BIOS quite a bit and changing a lot of settings here and there to get everything working the way I wanted it to. I did end up having some kind of a reported conflict with some of the motherboard resources. I never figured out what it is, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the machine at all. It still works just fine. No performance issues or anything like that, so yeah, I guess that is what it is. Windows is a bit messy, especially I have this issue with Millenium that for whatever reason, if I boot the computer, so like normally I have a C drive and a D drive. I put my games on the D drive so that, you know, if I have to reinstall, I don't have to wipe all of that. And so C drive just has Windows. But if I boot the machine with a thumb drive plugged in, then that moves the D drive, it renames it as E drive, and then makes the thumb drive D drive. And no matter what I try, I could not get that to fix itself, because it would always want to just rename it. So I guess the solution is to not boot the computer with a thumb drive plugged in, just plug in the thumb drive once the PC is booted, but sometimes that's easier said than done. I even run into a Windows protection error here. It is, yeah. It was a bit of a hassle, but we got there in the end. I've been having a bit of an issue with this sound card, the ESS Solo one that I was going to use in this machine, the ES1938S. So this happened in multiple computers, and the issue is that I can't plug it in. Doesn't go any further than that. So something with the bracket, like I've actually tested it in 3 different computers and it didn't work properly in any of them. It just doesn't sit right. So as soon as I put it in, it hits the bracket at the back. So it's already an issue. I can't push the card all the way in. I can't push it in like that because the bracket is stopping me. So right now the card is sitting unevenly in the slot, so it won't be recognized. In fact, it was recognized once in one of the computers and then it disappeared, so I'm assuming it had gotten loose. I'm not even sure if it still works, but hopefully it does. But yeah, I asked a friend of mine and he said that he has the same card and with the same issue, that it just doesn't fit properly in any case that he has. So I think the issue might be, is what he suggested, is that this is potentially an OEM card, and maybe in an OEM system this bracket would have worked fine, but not in this one. That is kind of annoying that they have a sort of proprietary bracket system. So I mean, it doesn't fit in any of my cases, so the only thing I can do really is, I guess, try to bend the bracket a little bit so it will fit. I don't know, I guess I'll give it a shot and see what happens. I mean, I would like to use this card. I'm not even sure if it works in this machine because this is an ICH6 Intel chipset, so not sure if that's supported for this card, but I guess we'll find out if I can get it to fit in this case. And voila, the sound card is magically now being recognized. Yay! Which it wasn't before. What I did was I just bent the bracket a little bit so it fit in there, which is not an elegant solution, but it is a solution to get the sound card to work. So at least we got that out of the way. Once we got the sound card working properly, I just proceeded to play some games, check out some games. Not too many, just a couple. I got some DOS games to work in Windows, but I was having some weird audio issues, some timing issues with speed haste. But the DOS isn't really the main focus of this machine anyways.
Start your engines. 3, 2, 1, go!
At least it's working, so that's good. I did hear some hiccup in the music, I think. I'll turn up the audio. Alright. I think it's clipping a little bit. Sounds like it's... oh.
Start your engines.
Wait, how do you... oh, great. Yeah, I don't know if this is like something with the video card. Can't seem to be able to like Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. Like, this happened in the other game as well. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this. That might be an issue.
Select vehicle. Automatic transmission. Automatic transmission. Start your engine. 3, 2, 1, go!
Like, once we switch into SVGA mode, it just doesn't work in VGA mode anymore. Which is a bit weird.
Unbelievable!
And then it's fucked. It's like... But also the music is skipping. At least I know the sound card is working, so that's good. I didn't fry it. But I don't know what's up with the skips. Midtown Madness 2 runs absolutely beautifully. It'll be good enough for playing Windows games, I guess.
Get ready to take a cruise through San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. That feels really smooth. It is surprisingly smooth because... Like, wow, this is like... Hold on. Are we at 60 or 75? I have to install Hertz tool. I forgot about it. 60 Hertz. Oh, perfect. Nice. So it's a 60 FPS. I can't see because the fucking menu is in the way. Go away. Okay. 60 FPS. I am actually shocked right now. How is this running so well? This is okay. There's a little slowdown there. Okay, yeah, it does slow down a little bit here. But honestly, it still feels pretty good. Like, this is a CPU killer game. And this is pretty much the fastest I've ever seen it run on 98, if we don't count the first iteration of this PC that ended up dying. Very nice. Yeah, this is like totally playable in full settings. The only slowdown we'll get is whenever we have to look at the whenever we see too much of the city, let's just put it that way. But yeah, totally fine. Really smooth. I like it. I might at some point replace the sound card, I'm not sure. I mean, right now I don't really have any other uses for this card anyways, I guess. It would be more suitable for a 98 machine. However, I might try to enable DOS mode in Windows Millenium if it's hopefully not gonna ruin the computer when the installation, because it's kind of the main thing I worry about. You don't want to really like poke around in old Windows and do things that you're not supposed to. So I never actually did it before. Never enabled DOS mode in Millenium. I could also install like another hard drive, I guess, and then put DOS on it, but yeah. And there's another game I've been really wanting to play, and so I finally got around to it, so much so that I got kind of hooked on it, and that's all I've been playing recently. It's Autobahnraser 2, or all the kind of very similar Double X games, Double X racing games from the time period. This one runs great, although not perfect. It is not a locked 60 FPS. This would actually be a locked 60 FPS on my other machine, weirdly enough. So I have a 2.8 Pentium 4, but that one has an ATI video card. I wonder if it's to do with the driver. Maybe the Nvidia drivers are way too heavy, or they're just not that good, and so this game suffers a tiny bit, going down to the 50s sometimes. But yeah, weirdly enough, on a slower machine I get a locked 60 FPS, so go figure. Oh shit. $220 in a turbine. Let's go. $220. I don't even want to go any faster than this. Like, what is Group B and C gonna be like? Unfortunately, I couldn't get Need for Speed Porsche 2000 to work, which was another game I wanted to test. But that is because, yeah, it just doesn't work with these newer Nvidia cards. However, there are patches and fixes I will try maybe later.
Group C.
And, you know, see how the game runs with those. But out of the box, it just does not work with this version of the driver. So that's the rejuvenation of my Windows Millenium PC project. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you don't want to miss me messing around with these computers, then make sure you follow me on Twitch, because that's most of this was pretty much just streamed there live on stream. And yeah, I hope to see you in another video soon. I'm sorry it took so long to make another video, but hopefully I can pick up again and start making more videos soon. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.
Yo, Kyle Dose, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome in. Welcome to the epitome of German gaming. We're playing Autobahnraser. Look at that. My new car. It's a Mercator A. Mercator A. I'm not sure why it's not capturing 800 by 600. It should. And sometimes it does. Like once out of 7 attempts it will capture it. It's completely random. I don't know why. Maybe we'll see it next after this race. This goes hard. I'm having way too much fun with this game. it's so good. Certainly better than Midnight Racing. Oh my god. That was such a bad game. Like, you know, you pick up some of these budget shitty racing games at the time without having any clue what the hell it is, and Midnight Racing has like really cool crash physics, and I did enjoy that part of it, but the rest of the game is just garbage. And they also resold it under so many different names and everything, different ideas, the way the game was structured.
Wagen 33 sind mit der Verfolgung eines Mercator A beschäftigt.
Alle Einheiten Ausschau nach einem Radar halten.
Oh. Oh. Damn it. Damn it. Scheiße, Mann.